Number 7. Trepanation. Hole in the head. Your head hurts. Maybe it's a migraine, or maybe you've had a run-in with a raw goat. Either way, medieval medicine had one solution: open your skull. Trepanation, the art of drilling a hole into your head, was seen as the cure for everything from seizures to depression to, ghosts that were obviously trapped in your brain. Let's not sugarcoat it. This was brain surgery with a mallet and a prayer. No antiseptics. No scalpels. Just a sharp rock or primitive drill and a whole lot of misplaced confidence. And yet people survived it. Lots of them. Archaeological skulls show signs of healing, meaning the patients didn't immediately drop dead. That's more than you can say for modern Ikea furniture assembly. So why did they do it? The belief was that headaches, insanity, and evil spirits could be released through a literal escape hatch in your skull. And in fairness, if you're suffering from extreme intracranial pressure, making space can relieve symptoms. It's barbaric. It's reckless. But it's not completely insane. Still, imagine going in for anxiety and being told, "Let's just pop your skull open like a soda can, because your brain's obviously haunted." Trepanation. When medieval doctors decided the best cure for thinking too much was less skull. Number 6. Boiled spider potion. You're coughing up a lung, your sinuses are on strike, and your lungs sound like they're bubbling in despair. Congratulations. You've got a medieval cold. And if you were lucky enough to live back then, your neighborhood apothecary might have prescribed the only logical solution: a spider smoothie. Yep, boiled spiders. Sometimes with butter. Occasionally with wine. And if you're feeling fancy, toss in some herbs. This wasn't some fringe forest witchcraft. Physicians actually recorded this stuff. The theory was that spiders, being creepy little survivors, held magical properties that could scare away illness. Basically, your cold was a coward, and spider broth was the bouncer. Some versions of this cure involved mashing the 8-legged freaks into a paste. Others called for frying them up like the worst tapas in history. But one popular recipe was to boil them alive, strain the soup, and then drink it. Warm, slimy, protein-rich, with just a hint of existential dread. Did it work? Kinda. Spiders contain trace amounts of peptides and proteins with antimicrobial properties. Add in the wine and butter, and you've got it. Well, not medicine, but a medieval health shot with bonus nightmare fuel. So next time you take NyQuil, remember, your ancestors chugged spider stew and called it wellness. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. It means a lot to me. Number 5. Dead man's touch. Got warts. In medieval England, you didn't need salicylic acid or duct tape. You needed a corpse. Specifically, the hand of an executed criminal. The ritual was called the dead man's touch. And it was exactly what it sounds like. Rubbing a wart with a freshly hanged man's hand, ideally still warm from death, was believed to transfer the blemish to the corpse. This was no obscure village myth. People lined up after executions for their turn at the hand, like it was the world's worst meet and greet. Some would sneak into cemeteries to find fresher options. The belief: death had spiritual power, and touching a corpse could steal your ailment. And the weirdest part, this kind of sympathetic magic sometimes had results. The ritual, combined with firm belief, triggered placebo responses strong enough to make some minor skin conditions actually improve. It's the same psychological voodoo that makes you feel better after rubbing essential oils on your third chakra. So yes, technically, being fondled by a criminal corpse could make your wart vanish. But so could time, or maybe just not poking it every hour. Either way, if you're feeling self-conscious about your skin, maybe don't dig up a hanged felon, just try moisturizer. Number 4. Goose fat and all soup for goat. Your foot feels like it's on fire, your big toe is staging a rebellion, and you're limping like someone cursed your ankle. That's gout, the medieval rich person's disease, caused by rich diets full of meat and wine. Gout was the body's way of saying, "You've reached peak nobility, now suffer." So what did medieval medicine recommend? A delicious blend of goose fat rubs and, I kid you not, boiled all soup. Yes, owls. The majestic, wise, night-dwelling burb stewed for your swollen toes. First, you'd slather the affected foot with goose fat, which was believed to draw out inflammation. Then you'd prepare the owl like a slow-cooked curse. Boil it down with herbs and sometimes wine, Then either drink it or apply it to the foot like some kind of bird-based gravy compress. Why owls? Because of medieval logic, that's why. Owls were associated with wisdom and night vision, so clearly their essence could see the disease and eliminate it. Goose fat, meanwhile, was warm and greasy. Two things that apparently screamed healing back then. Here's the thing. The warmth would have improved circulation temporarily, and the herbs in the stew might reduce inflammation. So it wasn't total quackery, just mostly quackery garnished with poultry. So, medieval gout cure foot fondue. Disgusting, yes, but not completely useless. Number 3, mummy powder. This one takes the cake, or the corpse. In medieval and Renaissance Europe, people literally ate ground-up human mummies for health. Yes, real ones, imported from Egypt, crushed into powder, sold in apothecaries, and taken like medieval Flintstones vitamins. They believed that since mummies had been preserved for thousands of years, consuming them would transfer that vitality to you. Strength, longevity, healing, all packed into one sandy body dust capsule. Who needs kale when you've got pharaoh spleen? It wasn't just peasants doing this either. Kings and nobles, people with power and education, were gobbling down corpse spice like it was turmeric. Even physicians like Paracelsus thought it was legit medicine. And Mumia, yes, it had a brand name. It was one of the hottest selling medicinal powders of the era. Was it effective? No. Shocking, I know. In fact, half the stuff sold as mummy wasn't even real mummies. It was ground-up beggars or criminals sold on the corpse black market. Still, the placebo effect did its job and people swore by it. So if you ever think modern health fads are weird, remember, people once thought the secret to long life was snorting a dehydrated Egyptian. Number 1. Brain butter for madness. You're hearing voices, seeing visions, acting unusual. In medieval times, this was not a sign to seek therapy. This was a sign that your soul was either possessed, cursed, or simply needed a brain lube. Enter brain butter, an actual ointment made from human brain tissue mixed with oils or fats and smeared on the head of those deemed mad. That's right. Take a brain, preferably from an executed criminal's, because again, somehow that added magical healing, mash it up with butter and apply it to the scalp. Why? Because some monks and physicians believed that a sense of sanity could be absorbed through the skull like a psychological balm. There were variations. Some used powdered skulls, some made it into a drink, yes, a drink, and some just wore it like a head mask of horror. This treatment was often accompanied by chanting, prayers, or, my personal favorite, hitting the patient gently to remind the brain who's boss. Obviously, none of this did a damn thing except provide a convenient way to contract 14 new diseases. But again, the placebo effect is powerful. And if you believed you were absorbing sanity from someone else's gray matter, maybe your behavior did improve, or maybe you just stopped talking about it because people kept rubbing brain butter on you. Either way, brain butter was the medieval version of, have you tried yoga? That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.